accurate, well, it's going to amount to more than a quarter of Lebanon's annual economy, with its banks in crisis, a collapsing currency, and one of the world's heaviest debt burdens. This is a bill that Lebanon simply cannot afford. Hani Borsali is the owner and CEO of the food importer Borsali Foods, based in Beirut, and he also heads the syndicate of food and drink importers in Lebanon, and joins us now. Hani, thanks very much indeed for being with us. Gosh, it's a tough old situation that everyone finds themselves in. Can I just ask you for one specific point first of all, and that's about the port itself. You know, you have to import food, critical to your business. Is the container port beyond use, or do you think there's hope yet?
Good morning. First of all, I have to put you a quotation from Albert Camus, who says, in some cases, keep going, only keep going, that's what's superhuman. That was quoted in the fall 1956. That's our situation. It is really dreadful. We are really in deep, deep trouble. However, the Lebanese people have always thrived and have always come back. Beirut has fallen 7 times. It is falling the 8th time, but we will survive. As long as the port is concerned, we have seen pictures of the container terminal still operating, and that's a very good news, because that will be a bridge for us in case of food shortages. You know that it's not only the port that is demolished, it's the lives of so many people, it's the infrastructure, it's the shipping lines, it's the clearing houses, everything is demolished. So as long as we can see a computer terminal still working, that gives us a little bit of hope of not being really in the bottom of the hole.
Right, and I mean, we have to recognise, Hani, don't we, that this explosion, dreadful as it clearly is not the cause of so much of the trouble that you find yourselves in. You look at the state of the currency, for example. It must be desperately difficult for you to negotiate and trade on the bringing in of whatever it might be, grain, other food imports, when you've got basically a useless currency.
Basically, we have been struggling for so many months as if we needed that explosion. We have already been drowning and barely surviving before that. And now with that, I don't know how we are going to survive. We are really seeking international help. We definitely cannot do it alone. As the report just said, that the reconstruction of that accident itself needs at least $15 billion, before counting that we already needed about another $15 billion just to bail out the sunken economy. So we have always had trouble getting foreign currencies. We have always got trouble getting imports from outside. We have been struggling with a lot of governments, a lot of local governments. It is really a very bad situation. And but as far as I can tell you, we will survive. We are a very strong people, and we will survive.
Yes, you'll survive. Perhaps the route is how you get there, how you turn this corner. There are many of your compatriots who would say, whatever you do, if you do bring in aid, if you do want to help, don't put it through the government because it's too corrupt. You have to find other ways to do it. What is the business view of that?
Well, that's exactly what you're saying is completely true. We fear that if international aid come through governmental channels, these will not come to the right people. So as we heard even yesterday, for the people talking directly to President Macron, they even told him, please don't pay money through the government. That's really dreadful, and that's really unfortunate. We will do our best to get our supplies as long as we look. During the war, during the civil war from 1975, the Lebanese people have always been able to function without a functioning government. So, well, that's not good news, but in times of trouble, you can always do that. Of course, I can also say that there are a lot of people, good people in the government that are doing their best, but the whole system is faltering, and I'm questioning everybody how we can survive during this very difficult time.
Right.
We have seen yesterday a lot of compassion from the people themselves. Every Lebanese have come to help his fellow Lebanese, and I think with this thing we can survive and we can go ahead.
Right. You recognise the challenges, but you are very upbeat. I mean, you're quoting Albert Camus at the top, and however absurd the world you're living in, you go on, you carry on. That said, when we look at it in the sort of cold light of day, you've got inflation, which is rampant at some 45% or so. This is not only a very long haul, it seems very difficult to see how you can be positive, even to the extent that with this pandemic, there are countries who are probably not ready to ship food and other necessities to a country that depends on them because they'll hang on to them for themselves.
Yes, yes, for sure. But as I'm telling you, it is the solidarity of the people in Lebanon that are our only hope. Look, let me give you a very quick example. The port is destroyed, and then there's a lot of containers there, there's a lot of goods there, there's a lot of capital for the importers there that is really, we don't know yet what is the fate of it. Before that, when the economic crisis started, all our bank accounts were frozen, so we started anew from whatever we had in our stocks and in our accounts receivables. So we built a working capital to work on. Now, with the blast, maybe 25% or more of our working capital who's stuck in the port are at stake. So even in that dreadful situation, we will try to do with whatever we are left and start again. This is the only thing that I can tell you. It is only by doing our own jobs and doing our own appreciation and our solidarity that we can go through. And definitely we need the support of a lot of people from outside. There's a lot of solidarity that is coming in. There's a lot of food aid that will be coming for the time being to help the people. There's a lot of people that have become homeless. There's a lot of people that have lost their dear ones. I personally was one of the people whose home has been partially damaged, and I had to move out to another house. Maybe I'm luckier than others because some other people are hanging on the streets and they cannot go elsewhere.
It's a very, very tough scenario, isn't it? Hani, we appreciate your time, Hani Brasali, and thanks very much, and best of luck to you as well. I think we'd all agree that the challenges facing Lebanon are just off the scale at the moment. At least